DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy, family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into Bills Weekly here on FingerLakes1.com. Paul Russo, Jim Senecropi, Kyle Evans here with you. The Bills losing ugly in Houston on Thursday night last week, 23-19. A lot to get into with the game. All the AFC action kind of shook out yesterday, so we'll take a look at the standings as well at this point, because now looming is a pretty big game once again against Pittsburgh coming up here in week 13. All that and more. But first, excuse me, before we get going, thank a couple more of our sponsors, including Nolan's Catering, planning a special event. Let Nolan's Catering help you curate your next occasion. Now booking special events at Hotel Canandaigua Tapestry Collection by Hilton on Lakeshore Drive, the Fallbrook House at the Canandaigua Country Club, or Nolan's on South Main Street in Canandaigua. Nolan's is ready to curate a food and beverage package perfect for any occasion. From elegant weddings to corporate events and private parties, enjoy the moment knowing Nolan's has it covered to plan your perfect
dinner at Nolan's.
Oh, did
Saturday
you?
Night, yeah.
Look at that.
I had a cowboy cut ribeye.
Ooh.
And yeah, it was awesome. It's always a great vibe in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got the games on the TVs, and it's packed.
Mm-hmm.
And, great service, really nice wait staff. My steak was unbelievable.
There you go. There you go. And to learn about that and planning your next perfect event, you can visit nolansonthelake.com. Trip me up there, Jim, because now you got me thinking about going there, obviously in person anyway for
Cowboy
that.
cut,
So yeah,
20 ounce.
There you go.
Ribeye.
Ooh. All right, and Blush by CV Designs, a local woman-owned business in the heart of the Finger Lakes, offering women's clothing and accessories, quality home goods, and unique gifts. You can see what everybody's talking about by visiting their location in downtown Niagara Falls, or browse all of their products online at shopcvdesigns.com. And guys, I was about to say for that though, I know Christine's got a bunch of deals coming up for Small Business Saturday coming up later on this week and Black Friday and all that. So make sure you check her out. She does a great job. And apparently, Jim, you're just hitting the gauntlet of everybody here. So
I went in and stocked up on a bunch of candles, pine-scented candles, like caramel cookie scented candles, to get the house smelling like the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
She's got great candles.
Oh, yeah.
There, among other things.
Oh yeah, actually,
I also got a gift, like a Santa, for my aunt, who we went to. We had dinner with, and I missed her birthday, so I got her like a Santa, like a 3-foot Santa.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah,
CV Designs.
About to say she's had some sauces down there before that I've enjoyed, barbecue sauce and stuff like that.
Yep.
So
and seasonings.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Anyways.
Hey, there's a gift for somebody obviously down there, so make sure you take advantage coming up here, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, all that fun stuff. So, unfortunately, we have to move away from the fun stuff here. Look, I think if we came in here on Friday, I was probably going to be a little bit more fired up for everybody else in here, but it might be a little bit more toned down, obviously, here on Monday, 23-19.
We got to digest everything that happened Sunday, which is like the NFL is crazy.
Yeah.
There is no dominant teams other than perhaps
the Rams,
the Patriots.
Oh, okay, yeah,
9 straight wins. I mean,
true.
you can't make this stuff up. If you were to give us this scenario now heading into Thanksgiving week as Bills fans, in the beginning of the season, we had wonder what the heck could possibly be going on. How could it have gotten to this?
Yeah, and I think that's probably most of how I feel in this sense for Bills fans and the team as a whole. And it's interesting because it'll be interesting to kind of see how this week plays out. It's tough because even then with Thanksgiving on Thursday, there's going to be a little bit less stuff probably available to the public knowledge-wise going into this upcoming week against the Steelers. But, look, I sat here last week. Kyle can attest to this. I felt really confident in the fact that the Bills were facing Davis Mills and a backup quarterback, and it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't even know how to fully feel anymore at this point.
The offense it was the offense.
Yeah.
Not David Mills that beat us. It was the offense. And I'm really interested in what Kyle thinks about all this.
Yeah, so Kyle, we'll go to you here first. I know me and you were talking a little bit before, and you didn't want to spoil much. So game kind of even throughout, what's the vibe for you at this point? Because like we talked about on Monday last week, we were both feeling pretty good about the Bills' chances going into this game.
I think the vibe is that anytime they face a top defense, it's going to look similar. We saw this in Atlanta, 4 or 5 weeks ago. Of course, Atlanta didn't have as many sacks, but it was literally the same game. There was lots of points early, which they did. They gave up 20 to Davis Mills in the first half. And in the second half, they gave up 3 points. They had 6 drives. The Bills had 6 drives to try to, do something offensively, and they managed 3 points as well. Mm-hmm. Just no one was open. Josh Allen couldn't even get rid of the ball at times because the pass rush was just dominant. The offensive line had by far their worst game they've ever had since they've been all together for the last several years. And I don't know if you've caught the clips, but Deion Dawkins is now a topic. He has been quitting on plays. Mm-hmm. And it didn't just happen in this Houston game. Somebody brought up a clip from the Kansas City game that they won, mm-hmm. where Deion doesn't block the entire time until Josh Allen gets rid of the ball.
And, yeah, I brought up last week to you, too. There was that deal on the sideline in the Buccaneers game involving him as well. So, I don't know. It just, to add to that, too, the line does get dinged up a little bit, too, during the game against Houston, which doesn't help matters either. But for your anchor on the offensive line and Deion Dawkins, just not at all what needs to be seen right now.
And play calling is up there again as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyrell Shavers, a career day last week against the Buccaneers. Now get this. Mm-hmm. He didn't have 1 target. He didn't have 2. He had 0 targets. Yeah. That's inexcusable from your offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And on top of that,
Keon Coleman's out.
Yep. And on top of that, you saw success early in the game, or at least with Ty Johnson in the passing game, especially on that big 3rd and 12 they had earlier in the, second quarter. And then you don't continue to go to your backs, like especially in the second half when they're trying to, gain yards and trying to move the ball on the field and nothing else is working. You don't try to start throwing to your running backs again and trying to use James Cook out in space, quick little screens. No, let's just try to sling it downfield still where everyone's just covered. And, Josh, of course, is trying everything he can to run around and make something happen.
He had 0. I mean, he was just absolutely shell-shocked all game long.
Yeah.
By the end of the game, he had to be seeing double.
Think about, like you said, your bet. Like, if that was Kirk Cousins out there quarterbacking for the Bills, there'd be way more sacks.
Yeah.
Like, at least, the Bills have a mobile quarterback that tries to make stuff happen. If you take Josh Allen off this Bills team's going like 7-10, maybe even 6,
maybe
worse.
Well, we almost had that reality because if we were watching the game,
yeah,
Allen went down, and when you saw him on the ground, you're like, he's out for the year. It was his throwing hand. Mm-hmm. He was writhing in pain, and all of a sudden, if you're wondering how it could get worse, if he had broke his hand and he was out, I mean, it would have been dark days for Bills fans. But by some miracle, like 5 minutes later, he was on the sideline fixing his hat with his right hand, and you could tell he was going to be okay.
Well, I'm surprised he's not on the injury report technically right now. He
probably will when it comes out tomorrow.
But you never see him like that. You never see him like really writhing in pain. I mean, it looked horrible, and for a 5-minute stretch, Bills fans had to be thinking our season's over because you can lose anybody on that roster except him. Mm-hmm. Obviously,
yeah,
he's the only thing keeping them, along with James Cook, but he's the only reason that the Bills are a winning football team, honestly, because the rest of the roster is awful.
Yeah, someone brought up, I forgot what reporter it was, or media guy. He was like, Josh Allen right now is basically a 6'6" pinata.
Yeah.
He's just out there trying to survive. He's getting hit. Now his offensive line's breaking down on him. He's trying to find people downfield that just aren't, getting open.
Aren't running good routes.
Yeah, like he's doing everything he can to try to will this team, of course, at least into the playoffs. And right now, today, sitting as the 7th seed, you can actually have a good conversation about them possibly missing the playoffs. Because if you look at their schedule, there is no easy game. They can go to Pittsburgh and lose. They can go to Cleveland and lose. This is the league nowadays. You can lose anywhere.
Well, with that in mind, I'll throw this up really quick. I plan on maybe doing it in a couple minutes, but the standings, taking a look at right here, playoff picture-wise overall, and really it gets amplified in my mind because you do play Pittsburgh next, and they are the ones right on your tail technically right now.
If they win, they'll have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, and the only reason why they're behind you is because they have the one less loss, obviously. It'll be interesting, obviously, given that. But, like, now Houston, who is right behind them, has the tiebreaker on you. And
Kansas City's behind the Bills, too. I mean, that's the thing when you look at this, and it's, like, so shocking. There is 6 more weeks in the playoffs, and the Bills aren't the only team in the NFL that are being like, what is going on here right now? With our team, like you never think that Kansas City would be on the outside looking in, or on the bubble, or that Baltimore now all of a sudden is 4th, or that the Colts aren't even tops anymore after that loss yesterday. They're down to 3. Patriots and Denver fans are like, wow, we got the class of the AFC. It's also crazy.
Yeah,
the NFL really is crazy. So if you're a Bills fan, you take a deep breath. You say you're 7-4. We control our own destiny. And I could even see a situation this year where the Bills maybe go on the road for their first playoff game, win it, and then get to come home for the next round because there was an upset opposite side of the bracket. The NFL's crazy. Yeah. So the Bills just got to circle the wagons. You know what I mean? And I think they'll be okay. But, yeah, obviously the Pittsburgh game's huge. They're right behind us on that list you just showed. They're at the 8th seed right now, and the Bills are the 7th seed.
Yeah, and I'll put the standings up again here quickly, only because of what is coming up for the Bills. We mentioned the schedule, right? But after Pittsburgh, you got Cincinnati. After that, we got the Browns 2 coming in. And I think realistically, to be fair, in my opinion, I don't know if anybody below the Kansas City mark right now is as much of a threat playoff-wise. But that being said, Joe Burrow trending towards playing Thursday night at the moment in their game this week. I don't know if that fully happens.
I don't care if they bring in Bart Starr to play. If the Bills can't beat the Bengals at home, no matter who's quarterback, then they don't deserve
But that's why I'm getting at, right? It's like I don't know numerically speaking if that's whatever, but it's enough that they can throw the wrench in as being a bubble team, And that's my thing. Look at the standings right now. It's just like, okay, this doesn't give me the confidence I thought we're going to have, back at the start of the year, and even going into last week. It changes completely the way I feel about this at this point.
And I think you could even look at Baltimore right now. Yes, they started 1-5 and now they're above 500. But did you see them in Cleveland or against Cleveland? Did you see them against the Jets?
Not good.
What is wrong with Lamar? He does not look healthy. He's taken way more sacks.
He also has nobody to throw to.
Yeah, Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews and who?
Flowers hasn't had a great season.
Yeah, so I don't think there's even with the Patriots. I know they've won 9 in a row, and you cannot ignore that. But if you look at their games and how they played in some of them, for example, yesterday, they could have easily lost. The Bills, they could have beat them. They lost by a field goal. The Bills played awful in the second half. It was a 23-20 game.
But in the NFL,
there's no elite team. The Patriots are good, but there's no elite team. There's no unbeatable team.
They're not elite.
It doesn't feel like a few years ago when the Chiefs just were unstoppable.
I agree on the AFC side of things, obviously, which is where this matters.
Rams are the best
the
team
most. Yeah, I think the Rams right now are both sides of the ball
I'm
very
not
well.
losing faith on the Eagles either. I think in the NFC, those are the top 2 teams you're going to see them
Right.
in the NFC Championship game, despite how the Eagles bungled away that against Dallas yesterday. But the AFC is a total different story. It's an entire total mismatch.
Yeah, the AFC teams, right, are elite on one side of the ball pretty much only, right? Like Denver's defense is very, very good. Their offense, a lot to be desired, just as an example, right?
Just like Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Their defense, so at times, has been really bad, though.
Yeah.
So who
Well,
knows?
New England, they're balanced. They're the best team in the AFC. They've got the best record in football. The Patriots.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like,
4-2 on the road, though.
Yeah.
Or no, 4-2 at home,
Yeah.
6-0 on the road.
Yeah.
So the thing is, even if they didn't get the 1 seed and the Patriots had to play on the road for somehow, some reason, they would be okay with it, apparently, because they go everywhere and win.
Well, we'll see what happens in Week 15 when the Bills go to New England.
Yeah. Hey, anything can happen in New England at home, even a Raider victory. So, for what that is worth.
But my point being is, like, talk to any Bills fan this week after that loss to Houston and the sky's falling, you know.
Oh, everyone's complaining all over.
And it's really bad vibes. My take is, like, it's okay as long as they kind of get back to their winning ways over the next final, 5 weeks of the season, 6 weeks?
6 weeks, yeah.
6 weeks of the season.
It's too early to give up.
Right. I mean,
This
they're
is
right.
like the
They're-
last
they're
week,
just
and
as
sure,
advanced as
but
anybody else.
yeah. And at the end of the day, you have Josh Allen. All these other teams have who?
Yeah.
Like Lamar, obviously, you put in that
Lawrence.
conversation, but
Trevor Lawrence,
you
Aaron
cannot trust
Rodgers.
Jacksonville. You can't trust the Chargers.
No.
Because stuff always happens with them. I mean, who else? Like, are the Colts finally going to come? Like, are they really coming back down to earth? I know they played the Chiefs well.
Hey, you want
Could
something?
have closed that out.
Yeah, I was about
Daniel
to say.
Jones, questionable throws again yesterday. Like, not really. Like, he could have had multiple interceptions that were dropped yesterday by the Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't trust Daniel Jones in a playoff situation.
Yeah, so, like, it's Jonathan Taylor, is Daniel Jones going to actually will them to a win in the playoffs? I don't know.
That was my thing yesterday. Not to go because this is an obviously Colts weekly. I don't know why they moved away from Jonathan Taylor being a bell cow in that system yesterday. Yeah,
How many
so
3 and outs did they have in
Yeah.
the fourth quarter?
that's my thing. I don't disagree. Daniel Jones didn't have a
They even had the ball in
bad
overtime to
game,
start.
but
They went like 3 and out.
yeah. But that being said, they also, to me, the coaching staff really kind of gave that game away. But
The Broncos
either way.
defense, elite. They're 6-0 at home.
Yeah,
But on the road, they don't play as well, and then sometimes their offense looks terrible.
yeah.
So,
I just think, like, Bills fans, if they are conceptualizing, like, the return to the Super Bowl as they've been doing since 1996 or whenever it was the last time that the Bills were there, you envision it happening more like it would have happened the past couple of years when
Yeah.
the Bills were the top team in the AFC, one of the top 2 teams maybe, or the way the Chiefs have done it, where they dominate all year and, you know, then get to the playoffs and continue to win. But this year could be different. The Bills' path to the Super Bowl could be coming from like a dark horse situation. So, you know, I'm just trying to be positive, and thinking they're going to figure something out. But of all the things that we talked about, the thing that concerns me most is, like, you know, I don't know if I trust this Bills coaching staff as much as, you know, I would trust Mike Vrabel for New England, or Peyton in Denver, you know, or even Harbaugh or Andy Reid. I mean, McDermott still hasn't proven himself, and, you know, the loss to Houston on Thursday night.
Yeah, so
help.
you kind of took where I was going to go with this a little bit here. We've talked a lot about Brandon Beane in the front office. There's a lot of this, in my opinion, Thursday night that does fall, though, on the coaching staff again here. And I'm going to put up this graphic really quick here, but it's a number that I saw going into Thursday night, but now after Thursday night, McDermott, 15-36, trailing at halftime. And it's the smallest things where I don't know if it's just a matter of adjustment, if he just can't do it, and that's just the coach he is and stuff like that. But at this point, too, there's also an element of just like kicking that field goal in the fourth quarter. The field goal does nothing for them at that point.
They could have kicked a
You
couple
know.
more, though, and they didn't.
Right.
the thing is, they couldn't even get a first down.
but that's
So
what
what are you going to do? Take
but that's-
points when you get it.
That's what I'm getting at, though. It's just like, at what point does the Bucs stop with McDermott?
It's not gonna.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, we talk a lot about Joe Brady and the offensive coordinator stuff, but like, McDermott now also has fumbled a couple of coordinator hires here. And it's just, I kind of wonder what the future with him looks like on this team, admittedly. You know,
Brian Daboll was a great hire. He couldn't control that he wanted to leave for a head coaching job.
yeah, but like, I don't know. I just
Dorsey was his worst hire. Joe Brady's better than Ken Dorsey.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know if I disagree, but also I don't know if it's by a ton. You know, I get it.
The personnel is way different too. Joe Brady's dealing with an awful offense roster. Like, look at the receivers they have compared to what Ken Dorsey had a couple years ago. Ken Dorsey had Diggs. I'm probably forgetting a couple people, but wasn't he under Cole Beasley?
Abe Davis when he was kind of better.
Yeah. Like, he had way more guys to work with. Look at who's on this offense.
I mean, I don't disagree. I'm just saying, though, there comes a time.
It's Brandon Beane constructing the roster.
I'm aware. I'm just saying, though, and this is a multi-sport thing that I have this opinion of, there comes a time when you can be good, but sometimes the voice in the room needs to change.
Well, I wonder how much of it is just like the general vibe in terms of the fact, like if you watched Hard Knocks this year.
Yeah.
Geez, man, who wouldn't want to play for the Bills watching that?
Yeah, everyone does.
Yeah, it just seemed like
they love the culture. No one complains about it.
Everything about it was just positive, and I don't think that the feeling in the locker room right now is probably the same as it was during the filming of that Hard Knocks. I feel like something's changed a little bit. You know, Keon Coleman's obviously not buying in. Mentioned Deion Dawkins not giving effort. I don't know, though. Who knows what's actually going on behind closed doors, but I bet you it's not all as kumbaya as it was in August.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, that's my thing, right? Like, it's... all right, Kyle, close your ears. This one's going to be painful. It's kind of like the Aaron Boone conundrum in a way. Like, the Yankees just keep winning, but also they can't get this deal across the finish line. You know? And this is... At this point, that's just the way I feel with Buffalo. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the future really looks like for McDermott's at this point, in my opinion. And I don't know if that means also just swapping out everything entirely. I don't know. Do you do an oil change or a new engine?
I don't like talking about it right now because they're 7-4 right in it.
Yeah.
You know, let's conversation for when the season's over. You're not going to fire him mid-season and throw somebody in there now. So the focus should be on how can we, get into the playoffs and make a run at the Super Bowl? Because as bad as things seem now, and as upset as we are with whether it be Brandon Beane or Sean McDermott, if the Bills can find a way, we won't be talking about this stuff, during the Super Bowl parade.
Yeah.
But, it does seem less likely that could be an outcome than it did, when the Bills started out 4-0 on September 28th. Like, it's not been great since then. So I do get what you're saying, but I'm saying as a Bills fan and as a Bills organization that, you got to, like I say, circle the wagons. Let's go. We're 7-4. Like, we control our own destiny. Start winning football games. Worry about that stuff after the season.
You want to know why that Sean McDermott stat doesn't tell it all? Well, let me ask you.
Go on.
Do you think, when you say he doesn't make adjustments, are you saying his defense in the second half? Because if that's the case, then you're totally wrong, and I'll throw the numbers.
No,
one more thing? What's the NFL average for coaches losing at halftime?
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't have the stat, and you can go look it up on Google, and it won't show.
Be probably worse than.
It's hard to find. You have to pay for it, like a stat head.
You ask Google Gemini?
I tried earlier, and I couldn't even find the McDermott stat. Only on Twitter.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I look. The defense one you're not going to get out of me only because, frankly, me and you, Kyle, have been the big kind of ringing the bell for the defense all year.
The thing is, in the Houston game, there wasn't any questionable timeouts. He took points when he could because the Bills couldn't get points. That's why he kicked the field goal. And early in the game, you're not even mentioning this. He went for a 4th and 1 on his own side of the field. He was being aggressive early on. And that led to them going up 9-3, and then Matt Prater missed the extra point.
I don't have a necessary problem with that.
There's not much to say about McDermott. This is strictly on the offense and the offensive line. I'll ask you this. I bet you're not going to know this, and you're going to be stunned. How many total yards did the Texans have in the second half? The last 30 minutes of the game?
25.
61. Do you understand how insane that is?
Yeah.
How many points did they give up in Atlanta in the second half as well?
3, right?
Right. And what did they just give up in the second half in Houston? 3.
Yeah.
And
they lost by a touchdown in Atlanta. They lost in Houston by 4. Where's the offense being blamed here?
That's why
Sean McDermott doesn't
that's why
play quarterback.
That's what I'm getting at, though. Like, you're the head coach.
That's a stupid stat.
The buck has to stop with you as the head coach. So that's what I'm getting at. Like,
Look at this. 7 points allowed to the Jets in the second half. This is this season. 7 to the Dolphins, 9 to the Saints, 3 to the Falcons, 6 to the Panthers, 8 to the Chiefs, 3 to the Texans. The second half adjustments are there. They're terrible in the first half. But they come alive in the second half.
Yeah,
and the offense doesn't do anything.
Right,
So how Sean McDermott doesn't play quarterback?
I'm aware, but you're the head coach. The buck stops with you.
The Buckeyes
Like-
stops with the coach. So yeah,
Because that's the easy way out. Oh, let's just blame the
Okay,
coach.
I'll do devil's advocate here then. So why do we blame Nick Sirianni then for whatever's happening in Philly?
I don't blame Sirianni for that loss yesterday.
Right, but what I'm saying though is
the
we pin
players.
a lot of this on Sirianni, correct, in Philly? But like, I'm just doing the devil's advocate
know.
now position of that.
The players aren't performing. Look at the talent they have on the Eagles. They're up 21-0. I mean, how do you allow that? The defense is elite and you don't score again? Look at the talent.
I put it on the players more than McDermott at this point in the season. We can evaluate McDermott.
And of course, McDermott, I'm not a huge McDermott. Like, if he left tomorrow, I could care less. I'm just saying that stat doesn't really, like, oh yeah, he gets a loss because the offense did nothing in Houston and the offense did nothing in Atlanta. Like, that's just how it goes. That stat doesn't show everything of how the games are being broken down into.
Yeah, Kincaid was out. No other tight ends.
Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel was out.
Yeah,
I get it. Curtis Samuel is nothing.
they're all terrible though. Like, Coleman's a pathetic joke. He should be off the team next year. I mean,
Tyrell Shavers having 0 targets is actually unacceptable. After that, he had the best game of all receivers last week.
yeah, you think you could build on that, but no. And Josh Palmer was back, and he had 20-something yards, I think.
Yep.
Does he
But
get
only 3 targets.
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
Does Palmer get counted for the yardage at the end anyway?
What's that?
Wasn't he the one who lateraled to Shakir on the hook and ladder?
Oh.
He was.
So
But it goes to Shakir, I'm pretty sure, I thought.
right.
Yeah.
So
And keep in mind that the Bills probably win the game if Shakir doesn't fumble. And that's not on me.
Yeah, because they turned. But here's the crazy thing: that was the Texans' only 3 points in the second half.
Right.
They turned it over at the 20, and they got a field goal out of it.
Yep.
If Shakir didn't fumble, the Texans would have been shut out, and you still can't win.
yeah.
I also found it interesting that James Cook went over 100 yards 6 times this year, and this was the only time he did, and they lost.
Yep. And 75 of it came in the first half.
Yeah.
So
How many carries did he get in the second half?
Oh.
I
About to
broke
say,
it
I
down.
wasn't going to be able to have that answer. I was ready to go for the full game at 17, but
7 carries for 75 yards in the first half. Second half, 10 carries for 41 yards. So the average went way down per carry.
But to that end, I noticed this is where I pay attention to stuff on the line a little bit because as a former lineman. But I noticed the Texans were getting a little bit more, we'll call it creative on the interior. Like Will Anderson was kind of, I wouldn't say deking, but he'd show inside and then adjust to the outside pre-snap and stuff like
They were
that.
probably just have it, they were yucking it up in the huddle. They were probably they could do anything they wanted with that offensive line. It seemed like if it wasn't Josh Allen back there at quarterback, and it was almost anybody else in the league, and I'd say anybody, but let's say 90% of the other quarterbacks in the league, the Bills would have probably lost by 20.
Yeah.
And speaking of Gabe Davis, quick, I have the numbers here. He himself only got 2 targets. How do you do that after he was making big plays against the Buccaneers on the 3rd down and 4th down, and he did drop that 1-yard touchdown against Tampa Bay? But how are you not targeting these guys that literally helped you beat the Buccaneers?
Yeah.
Jackson Hawes had 2 catches for 26 yards.
Yeah.
He had double the targets Tyrell. I mean, it is unbelievable. It is so obvious Joe Brady and the offense is most of the problem this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Hoss is your blocking tight end. What is happening?
They scored 19 against Houston. They scored 13 in the loss to Miami. I mean,
Right, and you're not gonna
loss
win.
to Miami is just looming so large right now.
Yeah.
And they didn't just lose it; they got freaking spanked.
Yeah.
They had multiple opportunities in the second half to beat the Patriots as well, and they lost by a field goal late.
Yeah, they scored 14 points against Atlanta, 20 points in the loss to New England.
Yeah, if you pull up their game logs from this year compared to the last several years, the amount of time the Bills have scored under 20 this year compared to I bet you they've scored under 20 more this year than probably like the previous 3 or 4 years combined.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
Because remember how many 30-point games in a row they had at one point? I think it was like 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, if they had any type of offense in the second half in these games, they would steal these games and win them. And that will be the difference of winning a division, and that'll be the difference of home field advantage, and it's going to go a long way. So
What can they do to adjust? I mean, it seems.
I think it's a personnel
issue,
problem, yeah.
right? And so how do you adjust?
Chip Kelly's available.
I don't think you can do much other than pray.
Yeah, I mean,
Trading deadline's passed. You're not going to bring anybody else in.
and that's the thing, right? Me and Kyle looked last week. There is literally nobody available on the waiver wire either at this point, besides career practice squad guys. Like,
What's the deal with Keon
I mean, Odell Beckham Jr. is available. Everyone, all these Bills fans that don't know the game.
No,
Yeah.
he hasn't played in a year and a half. There's no. Like if you do that, you're better off just grabbing one of these guys on a practice squad who's at least been doing something. Like,
Well, we didn't even mention McCole Hardman couldn't make it past one game.
I know.
Before going on IR.
And, injured. Not that he's the answer either. I mean, my God.
But I guess at least they're trying,
Well-
but they could have tried more at the trade deadline and just gave up that pick that they didn't want to do next year.
the Shaheed thing to me is that's malpractice in my opinion. But
So if this does end up being a wasted year, maybe at least it puts way more urgency on Brandon Beane to go out and really help this offense. And stop
I think the
saying
urgency.
it's okay.
I think the urgency is already there at this point. I mean,
The urgency wasn't there. They would have made several trades. Too.
well, I'm saying it's already there right now. I mean, we talked about Josh Allen and everything, but like Josh Allen literally was like screaming at Mitch Trubisky like he was his therapist.
He said,
on
"What
the
are we doing?"
sideline.
Because Joe Brady's an idiot.
Yeah, so
Joe Brady will be gone. Sean and Brandon, no. But again, he's right. We'll talk about it later. I mean, it's stupid. We got a lot of games left. Anything can happen.
So looking at what could change between now and the upcoming weeks, so Keon Coleman went into the season as number 1 receiver. What's going on with him?
I think we'll probably see him back in Pittsburgh. But again, what is he going to do? Probably nothing. And then hopefully Kincaid's back. Maybe that'll help. I mean, they have been missing Kincaid for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or is it 3 now? I can't remember.
3.
3.
And I mean, he was big for Josh earlier in the year, so who knows? If they start targeting Josh Palmer more, I mean, the guy shouldn't have 3 targets. You're paying him $36 million. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Josh Palmer was the statistical whatever darling coming in because of his underutilization with the Chargers and stuff like that. So,
But then look at the guys that the Chargers have now. Like they're all probably better than Palmer. Like the Chargers knew what they were doing.
They're performing way more.
maybe Ladd. I will cede Ladd, but I don't know about anybody else.
What about
not Arande.
Rodney Gadsden? Well, he's more of a tight end, but actually used more as a wide receiver. And then you got Quentin Johnson.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll take any of those guys over.
And then the $8 million guy is hurt all the time. Curtis Samuel.
I find it very interesting that McDermott essentially said the same thing about Samuel and Kincaid, how they're in their respective injuries, improving in his recovery, is what he offered up for both Samuel and Kincaid.
They set themselves up for this when they signed Curtis Samuel in the first place.
Yeah.
Why? When he was signed,
They just tried to find cheap options, and now they're backfiring, and they probably overpaid a lot of these guys too, just to get them because they knew there was no one left in free agency, and they weren't going to get a top name, and they didn't. Brandon Beane loves his draft picks, as we saw at the deadline this year.
Yeah.
Diggs' deal was such an outlier.
Yeah.
And then now they couldn't make it work. Like Diggs didn't win any Super Bowls with the Bills. He had a couple good years, but now where is he? He's on the 10-2 New England Patriots.
Yep.
Having a great season.
Catching a 3rd and 8 pass yesterday to clinch the win, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For a 9th straight win, by the way.
Yeah, it's nuts. They started out 1-2, the Patriots, and now they're 10-2, and 3.5 games, or 2.5. Anyways, they're way ahead of the Bills. And
Easiest remaining schedule. They get the Giants on Monday Night Football this coming week. Then they get their bye, and then they play the Bills. They have the latest bye.
The first half Giants, though. You never know what might happen there.
They should have won that game in Detroit.
Yeah. Yeah, they should have.
Stupid
Which
decisions.
just shows how crazy the NFL really is.
Yeah.
And so we can't overreact to everything here. But I'm so upset by that loss. I'm sick.
Yeah.
Literally sick. I got a cold. I got a sore throat, stuffed up nose.
Before we get to Pittsburgh here, too, I should note Maxwell Harrison, Terrell Bernard.
I'm back.
A
Well,
lot of injuries.
questionable right now. Bernard, elbow, McDermott says could be a candidate for the injury reserve, was in a sling on the sideline.
Always hurt. The middle linebackers for the Bills, Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard.
Yeah.
Every week.
And then Maxwell Harrison, concussion protocol. Last update there was Friday on him, so we'll see kind of as this week progresses and everything goes there. Plus, I'm intrigued personally. We mentioned the offensive line. I know the big one I saw was McGovern getting dinged up again.
We have a bigger one. Spencer Brown.
Yeah.
And he might go on IR too. And that is a major, major loss.
Yeah.
You've said it all year. That offensive line has been together. They've been healthy for several years now. And if they lose one of them,
Yeah. I guess I just view McGovern because he, center of that line. But either way. Just not. Things aren't well on that front, so I'm intrigued to see. Like I said, it will be interesting because of the Thanksgiving being on Thursday. Obviously, it kind of throws a wrench into a little bit of how much we fully get out of coaches this week and kind of who's at the facility when and stuff like that.
But
It'll
the
be
Bills
interesting.
do have the advantage over the Steelers and really the rest of the league by having played Thursday. That extra 4 days rest heading into, this home stretch is going to be, in my opinion, helpful.
Yeah.
As they circle the wagons.
Chris Berman, hello. It'll be interesting, this game with Pittsburgh. Obviously, for them, the big question mark is whether or not we will see Aaron Rodgers.
no doubt he'll play.
I would imagine if he went up.
It's going to go yesterday.
He essentially went up right up until game time yesterday
so
to
he's
make a
gonna play.
decision.
Tomlin said last night he will.
So you never know, though. Who knows how things progress?
It's Rodgers. He's going to play.
Well, I'd agree, but
expect him to play.
I agree, but it'll be interesting. Bless you. To see how it fully breaks out there. The Steelers are one of the biggest, to me, question marks in the league. Nothing makes sense with them. They're here, there, they're a little bit everywhere, and
And a really boring team.
yeah,
Offensively.
it's one of those things where I think opinion of them was very mixed bag going into the season, and now I feel like it's still a mixed bag, but for different reasons. You mentioned the offense, Kyle, for them. I look at them on defense, man. They're also like a boring defensive team sometimes. It's just a really, really weird middling Steelers team that I feel like perfectly encapsulates what they've been the past decade plus this year.
And don't forget their ignorant head coach.
Yes.
Who punts in the most, I can't even explain situations when it makes no sense. So be ready. It'll be a 4th
Kyle,
and
he's
1.
never been below 500.
Yeah, because that's all that they care about in Pittsburgh. Well, the coaching staff at least. The fans are fed up.
Yeah.
You can tell Jersey Jerry from Barstool.
Well, it's funny. It's funny to me because like I went to college in Western PA. Nothing but for the most part Steelers fans. They're obviously the first heavy hand, and it's very funny seeing people kind of turn on Tomlin all of a sudden. It's like I've been trying to tell you guys for sure the better part of 5 years about him, and it's just very funny to me seeing the dialogue around him all of a sudden shift. But here nor there. The offense for the Steelers makes next to no sense. They were supposed to be this high-wired thing. They bring in Rodgers. They essentially swap out Metcalf for Pickens. That's been a very, calling it level would be probably an overstatement. I think.
Jalen Warren's doing okay.
Say it.
Yeah.
I know you want to say it.
Yeah.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers is the problem.
You will not have a problem with me saying that.
I know. That's why it's
Believe
funny,
me.
'cause you really
But
hate him.
well, that being said, though, I don't think Rodgers is actually having that bad of a year.
No.
It's just the same thing that I've had an issue with the Steelers for like I said, the better part of a decade. That offensive line has never really improved it. Their running game has always been allegedly great, but never living up to expectation. And
Well, they're 6-5 and also can control
Yeah.
their own destiny. This is a huge game for both of these
Correct.
franchises this week.
yeah, and that's the big thing going back to the standings. Whoever wins this game gets the tiebreaker on the bubble, essentially.
And if the Bills lose, though, they're guaranteed out of a playoff spot come this time next week because the Chargers and the Jags have the tiebreaker based on conference record. So even if they lose their games too, they still stay in a playoff spot. And Pittsburgh moves up, Buffalo drops.
Yeah.
So they'll be out of a playoff spot with a loss in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And then 3 of their next 5 games would be against teams with losing records, but 2 of them will be against like the best teams in their respective conferences, at New England and then Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So massive game at Pittsburgh, I would say.
Yeah, there really is.
Yeah. Like I said, I think maybe the way I feel about this game is clouded by the fact of how I feel about the Steelers compared to, say, like, if they're playing the Texans again this week, for example, or something like that.
Well, I think the Bills are going to beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh this week.
Well, Vegas agrees with you. They opened as 3.5-point favorites. The line is already to 4. Buffalo over the Steelers. The line even has actually, for over-under, has moved. Opened at 46.5 and up to 47.5 already.
Points
So,
for like a Steelers home game,
Yeah.
seems to me.
yeah. So,
Which probably plays into the Bills' favor. I think the Bills got a better chance of winning a 30-24 game than they do a 23-19 game.
yes. Now, the interesting thing here is not that I don't think it's going to play that big of a factor, but one thing to keep an eye on in this game. The Pitt Panthers play at home in a big game Saturday
What's the
At-
weather like?
at what's it, Acrisure Stadium now, right? Not Heinz Field.
You're mentioning that the turf quality could
Yeah.
be in question,
48 and cloudy for Sunday.
but no rain on Saturday.
I don't think so. I'd have to double check that.
I know that we're expecting rain
But,
during this week in the Northeast.
Saturday, 34 and cloudy in Pittsburgh as of right
that'll be
now.
right.
So, but that being said, natural grass does get beat up. We've seen that countless times. Like I said, I don't think it will be as big a factor as it usually does, but it's one of those things to kind of keep an eye on involving the running game specifically. So, and plus, I know Pitt plays the Miami Hurricanes on Saturday. Could do some funny things there. But either way, that's for the College Football Weekly podcast. Yeah, I feel pretty good about the Bills in the chances of bouncing back here against Pittsburgh. Ideally they get at least one of those weapons back, right? I mean, Kincaid or
I would say Kincaid.
somebody, just somebody, anybody, some sort of body. And then, yeah, hopefully Harrison is able to get out of protocol. I don't think we'll see Bernard, obviously, at this point, barring some sort of miracle type procedure or anything like
Yeah,
that.
Metcalf's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Who do you think draws the Metcalf matchup?
I think there'll be a rotation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'll be one single guy because they're going to have trouble guarding him, whoever is out there.
Yeah.
The guy's massive
Yeah, that's true.
and fast. That's why Harrison's a big deal because he matches his speed like he did with Worthy a few weeks ago. But, yeah, I think the Bills should win this game.
Yeah.
Predictions?
Well, I will say this. The funny part about that is Kyle did get the score right last week in his prediction.
Yeah,
Just
crazy.
opposite way. So, yeah. It's just tough because, man, I just don't know what to think out of this offense at this point. I think I'm going to go Buffalo 24, Pittsburgh 15.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'll go 27-22
27-22?
Bills.
Okay.
So they'll just cover.
Yeah.
Just have this vision of T.J. Watt over and over again, just
Yeah.
coming in and throwing Allen to the ground or into the end zone.
He's officially the best Watt brother now.
Yeah. But
Hopefully he doesn't hurt Allen. One of these times Allen might get hurt.
I do think that the Bills win the game. It's hard to think that they can even score 30 points anymore, isn't it? It doesn't seem like kind of hard to.
Yeah.
Then the Bucs game happened, so it made no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, they were home though. That's
It
the
is,
difference too.
but it is a good point, though, that you bring up about T.J. Watt and Josh Allen. The Bills got to Baker a ton, and we saw last night Baker probably will be done at least for a couple weeks, the way it seems.
That was a
So,
horrible game
yeah.
for the Bucks last night. So, but that also reflects poorly on the Bills' win. Like,
Yeah.
the Bills only beat them by 12 at home, and they're obviously not very good right now. But I think we'll beat the Steelers, and it's going to be 27 to 18.
All right. We're all in the same neighborhood pretty much. I mean, I think offensively, we all think the same thing. It's just a matter of what the defense is
Wrong
able to
before.
do. That's for sure. Yeah, looking at my index card for the year, that's for sure.
It's the first time the Bills have been in Pittsburgh since 2019.
Really?
Wild, so close to each other.
And the Bills have won 4 of their last 5 against the Steelers, including the wild card game, or the divisional game a couple years ago, when they had to reschedule the game for that Tuesday because Monday there was a blizzard.
All right. Yes. Yeah.
Josh Allen had 5 total touchdowns,
Something like that. Yeah.
60-yard run, but again, different team. Just I like
That was
looking at the
the
history.
that was the game in Detroit, right? I
No,
think.
you're thinking of a different game. This was still in Buffalo. They had a shovel. Remember they asked for shovel.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Or 4 total touchdowns.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Either way.
at least it's a 4:25 start. I do like that.
Yeah, I was about to say this is, I think, the de facto CBS game of the week, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. Thanksgiving kind of throws a wrench into the broadcasting stuff a little bit. So
If the Bills lose at Pittsburgh, boy, look out below.
Yeah, so should
yeah, I mean, at that point, it really changes the reflection of everything. I don't. If that happens, I definitely don't think anybody or anything is safe at that point. But
7-5 if they were to lose.
Yeah.
After 4-0, after 4-0 start,
yeah,
and being the last remaining undefeated team in the league heading into that Sunday
Yeah.
night game against the Patriots when they lost.
Yep.
That was September 28th.
Buffalo.
Yeah. So not even 2 months fully yet.
yeah,
And then they get a whole week plus to prepare for the Falcons, and they lay an egg in Atlanta. Then they go on a bye, and we're like, okay. They come back strong. They beat Carolina and Kansas City, and then bang, just get their butt kicked at Miami.
yeah.
I mean, that's the one game that when we get towards the end of the season and we're going to find out if the Bills are what seed they are, if they're in or out, you look at that Miami game and you'll be like, what the heck happened
Yeah.
there?
And it wasn't just a bad bounce. They literally got pounded.
They just got destroyed on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. This week for the Bills, for those teams around them, Chiefs at the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Bengals and the Ravens play each other Thanksgiving night. Texans are at the Colts on Sunday. And obviously the Steelers. Chargers host the Raiders Sunday. The Broncos are way too far up, so that's the way I'm viewing that at this point. But those are kind of those main teams kind of around the Bills right now and
A team
everything.
like Denver loses 2 straight. All of a
True.
sudden they're not.
True, but the main thing with them though is they have the game in hand on the Chiefs in that division, and
Right.
so until that race gets tighter, it's tough for me to include that in those wild card spots.
It's just hard to predict anything in this league
Yeah.
from week to week.
And early lines would agree with you for those inclined to go that way. So it's the
And we're
beauty of
seeing
it.
these double-digit comebacks constantly.
Yeah.
Right.
Every week.
Yep.
I mean, we're talking 20-point, comebacks.
Yeah.
Like in Dallas yesterday. And the Broncos did it against
Kansas
the
City.
Giants. Yep. They're down 20 for a lot of the game?
Yeah.
And then, 21-0 Philadelphia.
Lions were down early, of
Tennessee
course.
made a comeback after being down
Yeah.
over 3 scores.
Yeah, it ended up being a 7-point game.
Can't,
The Packers won the game of ineptitude against the Vikings.
oh, yeah. You know what? I think that's my third bet I got wrong last week. I think I took Minnesota.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah.
That was a bad one.
Yeah, well, hopefully 9 shows up. He hasn't shown up for 12 weeks.
Oh, boy.
But, the NFL, man, gets crazier and crazier. So, all right. I think that about does it. Yeah, back at it again next Monday morning. Hopefully it's in a better mood, a better mind space, whatever you want to call it.
Cheer up, Bills Mafia. I mean, we're right in it right now. So, let's go.
Channel your frustration. Now, look, I don't condone violence. But channel channel your frustrations in your family's turkey bowl Thursday morning or afternoon, depending upon when you play, I guess. I don't know. But just remember, your little cousin needs to be taught a lesson every now and then. So
The Saints are hosting, by the way, Justin Tucker for a tryout. So
because that will make the
he might
difference.
be back in the league with the Saints.
Finally, the Saints got their guy to
For
turn the
what-
tide.
For what, 5 or 6 games now
I
left?
don't even know.
Why?
Just wanted to mention it because it's 4 minutes ago, and who cares? Like,
I go back again. Maybe the wrong podcast. I go back. I can't believe the Falcons were underdogs in that game. I just don't get it. Like,
I
the
know.
Saints are bad. The Saints are legitimately a bad team. Either way. All right. Hey, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to all.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everybody tuning in and listening. Hopefully everybody has a safe and enjoyable holiday. Heading into, I imagine Bills Mafia is going to be traveling pretty well for that game too Sunday afternoon down in Pittsburgh. So hopefully everything is safe and enjoyable for that as well for those heading down. You can find Bills Weekly here on FingerLakes1.com, the FL1 YouTube channel, all major podcasting platforms. Live again next Monday at 10 a.m. Until then, let's go Buffalo.